I now reconvene the regular council meeting for Monday, September 8th, 2025. Welcome back to the open meeting. Before we get underway, we'd like to acknowledge that this council meeting is being held on the homeland of the Tanaka people. Welcome to members of the gallery tonight and anybody who is viewing remotely. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda for the regular council meeting of Monday, September 8th, 2025? Mover, please. Councillor Statsky, Councillor Bassett. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of Monday, July 28th, 2025? Mover, please. Councillor Ray, Councillor Popoff. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're going to move straight into bylaws. We only have one bylaw for consideration tonight, and it's from Engineering Development Service Department regarding the zoning bylaw amendment number 4215/2025, which is before council tonight for first, second, and third reading. Can I please have staff give an overview of the report?
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. We're good there? Okay. I present to you this report tonight for a application we've received to introduce a new permitted use into the C4 mixed residential commercial zone. As you can see on the attachment, to the majority of this zone does run down the Victoria Avenue corridor. The applicant is requesting to add this use to the C4 as it's just a mostly just a technicality. The use of residential apartments is already permitted in the C4 zone. This one here just is a specific type of use. The congregate care apartment is specific to seniors type housing, which the applicant is exploring to build on this site. This would be the applicant's exploring building it on a site within the C4 zone, but it would be introduced as a new use across all of these parcels.
Thank you very much, Santana. Can I get a motion that council give first reading to City of Cranbrook Zone Amendment Bylaw 4215/2025? Mover, Councillor Ray, Councillor Bassett. Discussion. Councillor Peabody.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm just bringing my question up here. I'm just curious if a unit is built as a congregate care facility, and then down the road it switches to housing for non-seniors, would they then have to get a variance to allow for less parking stalls? Because it seems like that's one of the major things here, is that if it's a congregate care unit, that it's only 1.3 stalls compared to 2. Just wondering if there might be an issue, or if this is like a loophole to get less parking.
Councillor Peabody through the chair. Good question. That would be something that we couldn't really regulate going forward. We don't regulate the user, we regulate the use. And because our zoning bylaw does have a specific, it differentiates between what just an apartment dwelling unit is versus a congregate care apartment. It would be up to the landlord, property owner to ensure that the parking is sufficient for the occupants. But we would, through business license and whatnot, we can regulate or ensure that there's enough parking provided if it's no longer going to be a seniors specific use. So I don't believe it's a loophole. We are looking at adjusting our staff don't see any concern with even the 1.3 stalls instead of 2 per unit based on changes that we've seen in our users and how much parking has actually been required, especially for the seniors housing program or seniors housing apartments. At this point, we don't see any long-term issues.
Okay, thank you, Santana.
Further discussion, council? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thanks very much, Santana. Good report. And I think it's good where we're getting out in front of things. We can certainly see that trend is going to probably happen in that corridor. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion that council give second reading to City of Cranbrook zoning bylaw amendment number 4215, 2025? Mover, please. Councillor Stetsky, Councillor Graham. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried unanimously. Can I get a motion that council give third reading to City of Cranbrook zoning bylaw amendment number 4215, 2025, and refer the bylaw to the Minister of Transportation and Transit for approval? Councillor Popoff, Councillor Bissett. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Moving to new business. Our first item is from Fire and Emergency Service regarding a budget amendment for wildfire mitigation work. Can I please have staff provide an overview of the report? Welcome, Chief Driver.
Yes, Mayor and Council, thanks for having me tonight. Yeah, we're looking to do a budget amendment to transfer $15,000 from the Wildfire Mitigation Reserve to an operating account for this season, due to an opportunity that's arisen very, very quickly. In the next couple of weeks or in the next month, there's an opportunity to do a prescribed burn at the airport airside. In partnership in some of the larger landscape planning with ACAM community that's going to do some downhill from us in the coming years. So this again is working in partnership on a landscape level with our neighbors. There's a lot of ground and surface fuels in the area that we're looking to burn on the southwest corner of the airport. This is a really great time to do it. We've had a good growing season. We can pull off some a pretty easy ignition based on our planning. Potentially a night burn, so not to disrupt flight services with the Rockies Airport. And a great one to come and see if you want to do that during the event if it does happen. So yeah, we're looking for $15,000 just to cover the administrative costs and some of the higher operating costs. But this is really a quick, easy, cheap burn to get done. We don't have a grant opportunity in front of us that could get turned around this quickly, but we do have pretty significant support from the BC Wildfire Service zone staff, the staff that are currently working. They've already been helping guard some of the fence line that's out of the airport, and the TREX program, which is a prescribed fire training exchange. They're willing to support us in the operation as well. So that's why it's coming in at such a low cost.
Good news. Can I get a motion that council amend the budget to transfer $15,000 from the wildfire mitigation reserve to the fire protection mitigation account? Mover, please. Councillor Peabody, Councillor Popoff. Discussion? Councillor Popoff.
Thank you, and I fully support this. I'm just $15,000, and Scotty, you have oversight over the wildfire mitigation reserve as well as the fire protection and mitigation account.
Correct.
Why do you? Somewhere it's written you have to come to council for this, but I'm wondering why can't we just change that so you have oversight of these accounts? Just do it.
Yeah,
so
so
it's $1 million. I'd like to hear about it, but 15,000.
I know it is there. It's twofold here. Is there's no council approval of the project through last year's budget process. So this project was never identified and brought in front of council, and we don't have grant money, which is the normal way of funding these ones. And so for those two reasons, I wanted to bring it in front of council just to make sure everyone was aware.
Thank you, Scott. Further? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Our next item is from Engineering Development Services regarding the grant applications for Phillips Reservoir Bypass Pipeline. Is Mike's going to give us an update on this or an overview, or we got Curtis? Hey,
Can
Curtis.
you hear me, Mayor and Council?
Yeah, welcome, Curtis.
Awesome.
Can you hear me, Curtis? Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good stuff. The floor is yours.
So the report here on the floor tonight is, as kind of was talked about a month and a bit ago when we asked for some additional design funding, is the council resolution to apply to the Strategic Priorities Fund to apply up to $7 million for the Phillips Reservoir Bypass Pipeline project. Through the work that we've done over the last 5 to 6 weeks, staff, our consultants, and our contractor Kiewit are confident in where we've progressed the design to, that we can say that we'll have certainty we can meet this project within the 7 million cap. We've kind of talked a little bit about the benefits of this with you, Mayor and Council, and then the other part of the resolution is that we do still need to have the clause in there that if there is any overruns, that there is a place to fund it from. So staff is recommending we put it towards the capital works program if there was an overrun. But with the good work we're doing, I'm confident that we're going to be able to deliver within the 7 million. So hopefully we can get some grant funding.
Thank you, Curtis. Can I get a motion that council approve applying to the Strategic Priorities Fund Capital Infrastructure Stream for the Phillips Reservoir Bypass Pipeline Project for up to $7 million, and further that council approve any cost overruns be funded from the annual Capital Works Program? Mover, please, Councillor Stetsky, Councillor Bissett. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thanks very much, Curtis. Moving on to administrative updates. Our first administrative update is from Engineering Development Services regarding Slaterville land use and safety concerns. Can I please have staff provide an update? Is it Mike? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This update is provided in response to some concerns and inquiries that have come forward, both staff and council, related to a potential land use and safety concerns in the Slaterville community. So from a high-level perspective, from a zoning and land use, the property at 824 4th Street Northwest is currently zoned M3. It has been zoned to that or similar use since at least 1981. This heavy industrial and transportation zone does permit a number of uses currently, which include but aren't limited to extraction of sand and gravel, wholesaling of waste material, recycling depot, transportation facilities, airport, etc. There's a lot of listed uses in our zoning bylaw. From an OCP perspective, the most recent OCP land use designation for future land use is infill residential. The city cannot restrict a use of the site that is permitted in the zoning bylaw for that property or any other property in the city. For other uses that fall outside of the M3 zone, rezoning would be required to accommodate that land use. And also an OCP amendment would be required for any uses on that property if they would fall outside of the infill residential OCP land use designation. The current status of the subject property, staff did notify the property owner that there should be no further tree clearing taking place on that site without a development permit as required by our OCP. They were authorized to remove the trees that were already fallen strictly to mitigate any fire risk and any concerns about unsightly issues. At the time of writing this admin update, there are no applications submitted for any rezoning, development permit, building permit, or subdivision of the property. So there's no active applications for any works on site. Should the property in question undertake any further activity that requires permits or zoning changes to accommodate use or development, the city will follow our bylaws and legislative procedures that are governed by the province, including public notifications or public hearings. To address some of the safety concerns and improvements that were a part of the letters and correspondence that's come forward. The city would not have the right to require the owner of a property to complete road or safety improvements simply due to their use of the property that complies with current zoning. Staff authority to require improvements to a property or offsite infrastructure is also limited to specific subdivision or development activities. And even through our authorities under our bylaws and legislation, those requirements do still need to be considered reasonable in nature. Narrow road widths in the Slaterville area have in place for many decades. Essentially, it's a result of the original subdivision, legal subdivision plan for all properties in that site. It's simply put that the road right-of-ways are very narrow. For that reason, it would be very difficult or nearly impossible to upgrade most of those local roads in Slaterville to meet current city standards for two-way traffic, as well as any sidewalk or pedestrian infrastructure. With these limitations, there have still been some substantial historical improvements to the infrastructure and safety in Slaterville. including the addition of several four-way stops and stop signs to reduce traffic speeds and volumes, road resurfacing in the 2020 Capital Works program, and the extension of 500 meters of sidewalk up 6th Street Northwest in 2019, which connects to many of those adjacent streets. From an accessibility perspective, acknowledging that yes, the roads are narrow, and that is certainly a fact. I've been on there many times managing those infrastructure projects as well as overseeing our own operations within that community. Our maintenance vehicles, the city's maintenance vehicles, including our loaded sand trucks, garbage trucks, recycling trucks, continue to access the neighborhood to complete their work. Regarding the street condition and composition, like any side street in the city, staff do apply load restrictions to address potential damage from large or heavy loads during spring thaw when roads are most susceptible. The simple majority of roads in Cranbrook and the surrounding area do not meet current standards for heavy traffic, which is why we protect them seasonally. Historically, these construction standards, including most of the roads around downtown and City Hall, were not constructed to even current standards for regular traffic, never mind heavy traffic loads. So we do need to protect them, or if we do see degradation happen, we could put on load restrictions, especially seasonally. Some of the past investments, including the relatively recent resurfacing of a lot of the roads in Slaterville, as well as a review of our most recent pavement condition information, do show that the roads in Slaterville, while certainly narrow, are holding up very well and are above average compared to most other local roads in the city.
Thank you very much, Mike. Council, any questions or comments? Councilor Graham.
Yeah, thanks. Just a quick question, Mike, in regards to if there was any building done on there, would that trigger an environmental? Or would that only be a DVP that would trigger an environmental?
Councillor Graham, through the mayor, that site is subject to Ministry of Environment requirements as a former Schedule 2 use. So the city would not be able to issue any permits that would result in ground disturbance without that receiving clearance. So that would typically cover most building permits that would require any foundation or structural work, as it would require digging the ground to put in any substantial foundations.
Thank you. Councillor Steskey.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mike, for the presentation. I did take a drive up there about a week ago. I certainly appreciate residents' concerns, and I would ask that staff keep council informed of any proposed development or changes happening on that particular piece of land.
Further? Okay, thanks very much, Mike. Next on the agenda is from Public Works regarding water use regulation stage 2. Can I please have staff provide an update on this? There he is. Jason.
Good evening,
Well,
Mayor and
sure,
Council. Welcome back. So while we're in hiatus for the month of August, I just want to let you guys know that we did move into water use regulation stage 2, and as part of the water use and regulation bylaw, we're required to advise council when we do that. So the Director of Public Works, he initiated that on Monday, August 5th, and to take effect on August 27th. Water elevations in the Phillips Reservoir had dropped to a level at the time of this writing, minus 35 inches. Currently, right now, we're about minus 48 inches from full pool. And of course, the creeks are not obviously replenishing the reservoir with the consumption that we're seeing. On average, we're seeing about a 1.5 inch drop per day. That was from August 22nd to August 25th. So what have we done? Public Works has reduced the hours and the days of all irrigation systems to coincide with the stage 2 residential requirements. Moyer Park, Rotary Park, and Confederation Park have not been changed, as they are the priority 1 play fields, and they currently have bookings for the fall. Fountains located at the fire hall and also at the drain park have been turned off. Public Works will begin blowing out irrigation lines this week, starting Wednesday. So a lot of our irrigation systems will be turned off just because it's that time of year anyway. So, yeah, also the production wells 3 and 4, they're still running and augmenting the surface water supply. So they're still available to us. Well 5, of course, is down. We need to do further investigation with that one. But yeah, just wanted to let everybody know that we're in stage 2.
Thanks very much, Jason. Council, any comments or questions? Councilor Peabody.
Thank you, Mayor. Jason, do you mind just giving the public just a brief overview of what stage 2 means?
So stage 2, instead of 2 days a week, we knock it down to 1 day a week, between the hours of 5 and 10 and in the morning and 5 and 10 in the evening. So pretty much just a reduction of 1 day.
Great. Thank you.
No, that's not accurate.
Oh,
No. So disregard that. The best thing, if anybody wants to know what the difference is, go to our website. It'll be on our website. Yeah, yeah. Sorry to call you on that one, Phil.
oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Jason,
Yeah.
last year at this time to this year, where are we at?
For
Better than
consumption
last
wise?
year, about the same.
I looked at the trends today. I didn't have them available for tonight's meeting, but we're pretty much on par. We're seeing a little bit better this year from last year. Not a heck of a lot. We're pretty much on par for the same consumption.
Thanks very much. Councilor Popoff has a question or comment?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So, Jason, you brought to my attention that we're running water into the sewer for both the fountain at the fire hall and the train park during stage 1. Is that 24 hours a day, or is that just during daylight hours that we're running water to sewer? What was that frequency before it was turned off?
Oh, Councillor Popoff through the mayor. We do not run it to sanitary. We do recycle the water there. It does have floats for just when they do lose a little bit of water, they replenish, but it does not constantly flow into the sanitary.
Good, thank you. That's what I thought we were doing. So then my question is, why are we shutting them off prior to blowing them out, in a week or so from now? If we're just recirculating, we're not using water.
It was just because of the warm temperatures that we've been seeing, the evaporation that we've been noticing with the fountains, that it was still using water. So we thought, just as a public perception, we would turn it off just a couple weeks early.
Excellent, thank you.
Further? Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Moving on now to correspondence. We have a few items of correspondence tonight. First item is is from the Royal Canadian Legion, and I got a potential resolution for that one. The council received the correspondence from Debbie Hart, Cenotaph Wall of Honor Committee, the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 24, dated August 12, 2025, regarding the request to make an application to the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada for the Cranbrook Cenotaph, and further, that council grant permission for the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 24 to apply to the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada to have the Cenotaph in Rotary Park receive National Historic Site designation. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Ray, Councillor Peabody. Discussion? Councillor Popoff.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm in favor of this, of course, but have we done our due diligence as a city? Because it's the Historic Sites and Monuments Board that's going to be on the city to make sure we're following their rules and restrictions. Do we know what their rules and restrictions are in terms of use and abuse that we're going to be required to follow before we pass this?
So the mayor, through to Councillor Popoff, I can respond to that. So we did, do some research there, and all we are doing is certifying as the owner that we're in favor of this application. And then we traced back the history all the way back to the original documents when the Cenotaph was created, and sorted that out in terms of ownership of the actual infrastructure and site. So yes, we're good there.
Right. So some of the rationale, and I support the Legion for asking for this, is there's been a fair bit of let's use the word misuse in and around the cenotaph, kids climbing all over it and everything else. Does this in any way cause the city to have to police that or make any other structural changes or anything else so that there's better protection around it? Like, so the kids will still climb all over it?
Councillor Popoff, through the mayor, there's a capital budget request coming in the 2026 budget sessions this winter or come before the winter. So what the Legion has requested is the city support for fencing and some lighting, and the fencing will restrict access. I've asked for them to include maybe some signage of why in terms of why, you know, they don't want people on that structure. But otherwise, you know, we're all on board. This affords them a higher level of protection of the monument on the site from, say, the city wanting to do something there versus, you know, the smaller scale vandalism.
Excellent, thank you.
Further? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. The remainder of the items are letters from residents of the Slaterville area regarding the development of a property received for information. Fine. Yep. Okay. Thank you. That brings us to mayor and council reports. It's quick tonight. Let's start with Councillor Graham tonight.
Yeah, sorry, you came right to me here. I don't have my stuff up, but looking forward to what we have coming down the pipe and budget things as well. I think we're going to have some robust discussions, so I'm excited for the fall season.
Okay. Councillor Papa.
Yes, thank you. I echo that. There's a lot of things that's happening in this city that maybe the public aren't aware of at this point. It's been a busy summer behind the scenes, and this fall is going to be pretty exciting around the table and in the city.
Thank you. Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. So just a couple of excellent community events to highlight. So in August on the 14th, of course, we had the annual rolling barrage come through Cranbrook. So such an important event to support folks who are dealing with PTSD. So just want to thank all the organizers for all their work on that. And it was great to see those folks come through Cranbrook. And then, of course, this weekend was EdFest. And again, thank you and congratulations to all the organizers and volunteers behind EdFest. They did an amazing job. And thanks to everyone who came out as well.
Thank you. Councillor Bassett.
Well, thank you, Your Worship. I was away this summer back in Ontario, and one of the things I wanted to mention, we had, it was just put in place at-home composting that was being collected by the municipality. And so I just want to say it was quite easy. We got a, you know, a composter bin to put on the counter, bags. When you filled it up, I put it in the freezer. And so you put out, you know, that and frozen stuff plus new stuff, and it was easy. And we live in a, you know, there's a fair bit of bear concerns where it is. So, and that all went well. So I just thought I would mention it because that's something we've talked about at this council. Also in driving back and forth with the electric car, electric charging has improved on the prairies for sure. The charging infrastructure has been augmented, and also the power has increased. So that was a welcome improvement. And coming back, we used this one charger in Regina, which is the fastest one I've ever seen. We got 235 kilowatts of power at a time. Took 12 minutes to charge. It was at a Tim Hortons, you know, coffee shop. Would have been longer to go in and get a coffee than it was to charge, depending on the lineup. But anyways, yeah, so that was amazing. And that was nice to see. Northern Ontario had no improvements at all. And I think that will come, though it has to. And but the prairies have made improvements. So that was nice. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Peabody.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to report, but I think I would just like to recognize the residents of Slaterville for submitting the letters to council and allowing staff to respond, and also for attending the meeting tonight. We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Statsky.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is going to be the shortest council meeting we've had. So I feel like I should give a speech or something.
Maybe.
No, three quick things. Thank you to the Fisher Peak Performing Arts Society for Thursday's Summer Sounds and Dancing in the Park. It was an amazing summer for great music right in Rotary Park. And also for Ed Fest, as mentioned by Councillor Ray, it was a great weekend with great entertainment. And thank you to Key City Theatre in particular for their role in that. So we're in a transition period right now, of course, and so the Bucks have started their season. Look forward to seeing many of you at the Bucks games over the course of the year. That becomes our social gathering place for the winter, now that summer sounds and summer is gone. I have had one question for our CAO, an update on the connecting road between College of the Rockies and 30th Avenue in terms of whether there's been progress on finishing that up.
Councillor Stetsky through the mayor, as recently as late last week, we were having some correspondence with College of the Rockies, working with them on some required acquisition of right-of-way dedication that needs to occur as a part of that. I know we brought that forward to council months ago. The process is taking a little bit longer than all of the project stakeholders would like. But we are hoping that some of those agreements are at least put forward and hopefully will be finalized within the next couple of weeks. If there's any hiccups with that, then there'll have to be some more conversations about what processes need to take place. But ideally, once those are in place, the project is wholly managed and funded by the College of the Rockies. So this isn't a city managed project or a city funded project. All of the works that are happening on college property, that is a private road and will continue to be a private road with access managed by the college. They will be simply seeking permission to and cooperation with the city staff to continue constructing the remainder of it where it will be in the city road right of way in close proximity. So to make a long story short, the hope is that the continuation and the completion of the project can still happen this summer and fall. But if we have any certainty from an update perspective, we'll definitely bring that forward to council and the public at that time.
Thank you. I have just two items. Members of council and myself met with the Parliamentary Secretary for Economic Development for Rural Areas on Friday. It was a good meeting. We met probably for an hour, well, over 2 hours, and a very fruitful meeting. Certainly the minister does understand the realities of communities west of the east of the Okanagan, and the smaller communities with the disadvantages they're at right now with the economic development and some of the funding concerns that we have with the provincial government. So he was extremely understanding, extremely good input from council. I think he's got a lot of good thoughts and solutions that were put forward to him to work with going forward. So I was extremely happy with that meeting. We typically don't do proclamations anymore. We haven't for years, but from time to time, if a local resident makes us aware that there's a proclamation that they feel is important to the community, we will read that out. And I just received one here Friday for this. So September 22nd to 28th, 2025 is International Week of Deaf People. September 23rd is International Day of Sign Languages. The World Federation of Deaf People emerged in response to barriers that deaf people face, and they have been advocating for the rights of deaf people around the world since 1951. The theme for 2025 is No Human Rights Without Sign Language Rights. And with that, I will get a motion to adjourn, please. Councillor Bissett, seconder. Councillor Peabody, all in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you very much.